Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gomansing. This week, the Water and Power Authority is taking the stage with major announcements. Today, it's not about electricity, but a new method of producing safe drinking water for the community. News 2's April Knight has more.
The Randolph E. Harley Power Plant was scurrying with excitement this morning as WAPA announced that it's changing the way it's producing safe drinking water for the territory.
Special welcome for attending the dedication ceremony of the reverse osmosis plant here.
WAPA had been producing drinking water for 30 years through thermal desalination, which had a major flaw. It depended on burning fuel oil. Fluctuating oil prices forced WAPA to look for other options, including one offered by 7 Seas Corporation, a process called reverse osmosis. After a lot of brainstorming and negotiation, WAPA was able to secure a contract for this Seawater Reverse Osmosis Facility, which is projected to cut water production costs by 50%.
Gurgling isn't just water gurgling, it's actually the sound of success. Success for 7 Seas, success for WAPA, and success for cooperation.
The savings, according to WAPA, should also extend to customers.
It means savings to the authority and savings to the customers.
Reverse osmosis is a fairly common way of purifying water. It essentially takes water and pushes it through various filters at high pressure, separating water molecules from everything else. Construction of the reverse osmosis system began in July 2012 and was practically completed a year later. It can produce up to 3.3 million gallons of potable water a day, which should easily take care of the territory's demand of 2 million gallons a day. As for the quality of the product, WAPA guarantees that it meets all local and federal safety standards, and Hugo Hodge is willing to bet on it.
This is the product. That water you're drinking is 7 Seas water made from this whole process.
April Knight, News 2.
WAPA signed a contract with 7 Seas Corporation for the next 20 years, a partnership that, according to WAPA officials, will ultimately benefit the VI community. Well, effective August 12th through August 18th, Hovenza's wholesale price of gas went down this week, regular gasoline by 5 cents per gallon and premium gasoline by 12 cents per gallon. The rack rate for diesel fuel did not change this week. Independent gas station operators in the territory will pay $3.34 per gallon for regular gas, $3.64 per gallon for premium gas, and $3.52 for diesel fuel when they buy their fuel wholesale at Hovenza. Waste management authorities say thieves are taking manhole covers on St. Croix. The thieves have hit low traffic in isolated areas and are selling them to local scrap metal companies. While the practice is illegal, officials say it's also dangerous to people, animals, and cars. News 2's Erica Parsons has that story.
The VI Waste Management Authority is investigating a recent wave of manhole cover thefts.
We've gotten complaints of 3 open manholes, 1 in the Mill Harbor area and a couple in the Ralph Bishop Bird housing community.
Those 3 the authority knows about, but there have been more thefts. Waste management officials said a random inspection at a local scrap metal company turned up more.
We've recovered 12 manhole covers from a scrap metal company. So we're in the process of investigating where they may have come from and replacing them.
The metal is being stolen to sell for cash. Last week, Innovative recorded their 5th incidence of copper theft. Although scrap metal companies aren't heavily regulated locally, they aren't allowed to purchase any utilities property without the proper identification.
Scrap metal companies are required to be permitted by the Waste Management Authority. According to the permit conditions, the scrap metal company cannot purchase scrap metal unless there's reasonable written documentation provided by the person selling the scrap metal to show that they are either the owner of the scrap metal or they're an employee, agent, or person authorized to sell the scrap metal on behalf of the owner.
The VI police say they're also continuing their efforts to slow the illegal metal thefts.
We are continuing to work with the DLCA to develop a much better protocol for the purchasing of these ill-gain things, and until such time as we can get some stronger laws and true legislation to deal with it.
Waste management officials said removing manhole covers is not only a health hazard, but it's also a safety issue. They say if a child falls in one, they could be hurt, lost, or even worse, so they urge the community to be vigilant.
If you see something, say something. Get a tag number, the time and date of the incident, and they can call the Waste Management Hotline at 713-1WMA or 713-1962.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
Waste management officials say they are investigating, and once they've concluded it, the agency has the authority to modify, revoke, reissue, or terminate any permit for a company found in violation. 2 persons reported to police that someone shot at them while they were driving on August 12th at 5:45 p.m. on the Melvin Evans Highway. The victim said they were on the highway heading east close to Sunny L's intersection when they heard at least 3 shots and heard their black glass shatter. The victim said they increased their speed and got out of the area. As this reckless endangerment case is being investigated, anyone with information regarding this crime is asked to call detectives at 712-6037, 712-6077, 911, or Crime Stoppers USVI. Meanwhile, police on St. Thomas are investigating a case in which a victim told police that he was walking home on the Nazareth roadway from the Red Hook area about 3:45 a.m. on August 13th, and he heard someone crying for help. He looked behind some garbage bins and saw a man. The victim asked the man if anything was wrong. The victim then jumped up, stabbed him in the stomach, and pushed the victim down, taking more than $1,000 from the victim's black bag. The suspect is described as a black male about 5'10", wearing a black hat, long-sleeve black t-shirt, black jeans, and a black bandana covering his face. If you are drinking, don't drive. Police on St. Thomas recently arrested several people for driving under the influence of alcohol. Traffic enforcement officers territory-wide continue to remind the motoring public anytime they are going to be drinking alcohol, they should have a designated driver or arrange for an alternate way of getting home, such as taking a taxi or phoning a friend.
Amy Lynn Baggett, age 29, was arrested at about 1:30 a.m. on August 13th and charged with DUI. Police said Baggett ran a red light on Veterans Drive, and when police stopped the vehicle, she was found to be driving under the influence of alcohol. Paul Alex Brooks, age 43, was arrested for DUI on August 11th at about 3 p.m. on Dronigan's Gata. Police said he also disregarded a red light and was found to be under the influence of alcohol. And 2 drivers were arrested when they were involved in an auto collision on the Harwood Highway. Police said Patrick Lewis Telemaco, age 45, and Alvarez K. McGovern, age 27, were involved in an auto accident where they collided into each other's vehicles. Both Telemaco and McGovern failed their field sobriety tests, and the breathalyzer showed that they were over the legal limit.
The police department will debut a weekly radio program starting Thursday, August 15th. Police Beat will air on WSTX AM 970 from 10 a.m. to noon. It's a new tool the department is using to expand their community outreach. The new show will be hosted by former Police Commissioner Novell Francis Jr., and the first guests will be Police Commissioner Carrad and both district chiefs. It will be videotaped to re-air on the Government Access Channel.
Tuning to the show, you'll get a lot of information about what's going on with your police department. You'll get information on the latest crime trends, and you'll also get information on how you as a community can do some preventative measures to keep the crime rate low. 2
Wanlawee Hospital officials resigned their posts last week. Vice President of Auxiliary Services Vinay Williams and Vice President of Marketing and Materials Management Julanda Simmons Emmanuel both stepped down. Their resignations come on the heel of the recent termination of Facilities Management Vice President Peter Abrams. In July, 2 hospital board members also left their posts. Well, a deal in the airline industry hit some turbulence today. The feds are taking American Airlines and U.S. Airways to court to block a planned merger that would create the world's largest airline. Tara Mergina reports from Reagan National Airport outside Washington, D.C.
Is trying to ground a planned merger between American Airlines and U.S. Airways. The Justice Department says the deal to create the world's largest airline would be bad for consumers, leading to higher ticket prices and higher fees. Travelers waiting for flights out of Reagan National Airport weighed in.
Anything that will help the consumers to save money. Airline flights are astronomically high, not to mention all the fees that are tacked on.
The government should stay out of most of these type of things and let business handle business.
In a joint statement, U.S. Airways and American Airlines said they will fight the government lawsuit, arguing the merger will benefit passengers, something they're already advertising.
One where two companies take the best of themselves to create something better.
The DOJ points here to Reagan National Airport, where the proposed merger would give the new company nearly 70% of takeoff and landing slots, squeezing out low-cost airlines.
The lawsuit caught industry experts off guard, especially because the government has given the green light to 3 other big airline mergers. Daryl Jenkins says it would have little impact on ticket prices.
The consumer is the final advocate on what they will pay, and if they decide not to pay that fare, it will be thrown out of the system quickly.
Jenkins expects the airlines to make some concessions and win merger approval by the end of the year. Tara Mergener for CBS News, Reagan National Airport.
And keeping our eye on the economy, federal investigators have reportedly subpoenaed records from Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan Chase over the pricing and availability of aluminum. Beer and soda makers complained that the banks intentionally warehoused aluminum to enhance their commodity businesses. Industry analysts and beverage makers estimate the delays and inflated prices cost consumers billions of dollars over the past 3 years. This is the New York Stock Exchange with Scotiabank Stock Market Watch. Everything up. The Dow, NASDAQ, S&P, Dow 31, NASDAQ 14, S&P 4. Coming up on News 2, the VI Economic Development Authority's Economic Development Commission Beneficiary Summit was held Tuesday on St. Croix. The summit's targeted audience include program beneficiaries as well as representatives of private sectors. Plus, the heart of the hurricane season from mid-August through October has yet to come. NOAA issued its updated Atlantic Hurricane Outlook. Today was a big day for new students attending the University of the Virgin Islands. Freshman orientation officially started on both campuses and will continue throughout the week. A program was held to welcome the new students, as well as activities to get them acquainted with university life. On Wednesday, August 14th, registration begins, especially for all new freshmen and transfer students. If you have any questions about this week's orientation activities or about admissions and enrollment, you can call 693-1160 on St. Thomas and 692-4158 on St. Croix. Today, on the island of St. Croix, the Virgin Islands Economic Development Authority hosted the 2013 EDC's Beneficiary Summit. These beneficiaries, as well as representatives of various organizations and government agencies, got the opportunity to discuss the territory's economic initiatives and development. This is Shanika Robinson has more.
The Virgin Islands Development Commission beneficiary hosted a summit today at the Divi Carina Bay Resort geared towards maintaining ideal conditions for economic growth.
The EDA is basically set up to be the umbrella organization that manages all our economic tools in the Virgin Islands. So when you talk about creating business, sustaining business, funding business, and getting tax incentives, this is where you come to do it, with a one-stop shop for setting up business in the Virgin Islands.
Being here today and understanding what the EDA is working on to attract more businesses to the community was really the big focus, and it was nice to see.
The summit highlighted the EDC program's potential growth and how it can assist in supporting a sustainable and profitable economy.
This program is critically important to the economic survival of the territory and its residents. The program now accounts for approximately 9,700 employees. The charitable contributions and the taxes they pay into the territory, it accounts for approximately $70 million at this point in time.
The summit also gave beneficiaries and other government agencies the ability to gather and exchange information relevant to the EDC program.
We're a new entrant to the EDC program and a new entrant to a newcomer to the U.S. Virgin Islands. So
we're moving in a very positive direction. It was a very constructive session.
Keynote speaker Governor John DeYoung focused his keynote address on thanking the beneficiaries for being a part of the program and also mentioned the importance of investing in the education system.
I wanted to be here to send both messages. Thank them for the investment that they're making both in the Virgin Islands and the commitment to the Virgin Islands, but also to let them know that we need their assistance to educate our workforce, but also to educate that next level of entrepreneurships that the Virgin Islands economy needs to grow.
Shaniqua Robinson reporting for News 2.
Now, the summit will also be held on August 15th at the Frenchman's Reef and Morningstar Beach Resort on St. Thomas from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Property owners, listen up. The Office of Lieutenant Governor is waiving penalty and interest fees for property tax years 2008 to 2011. That's in accordance with legislation recently enacted by the 30th Legislature of the Virgin Islands. The last day to take advantage of the property tax amnesty is Thursday, November 7, 2013. Property owners are also reminded that the 5% discount for the 2012 property tax bill has been extended until the bill due date of August 30, 2013. Well, stress management, living, health, lifestyles, and HIV, all the information was presented at the Queen Louise home on St. Thomas. The Department of Human Services held their third annual We Care Health Fair on Friday. Now, this community outreach provided glucose, cholesterol, blood pressure, dental screening, and eye screening, and that's just to name a few. The purpose of the fair is to educate the public on health care and the importance of having your cholesterol, blood sugar, and blood pressure checked. Other agencies were in attendance, including Vitima, who presented information on hurricane, earthquake, and tsunami preparedness. Many healthcare professionals were also on hand with valuable information. Well, as we reported, as part of National Health Center Week, Frederick said healthcare is marking the celebration. The campaign began on Sunday. Today, there was a public housing day with an open house and health screenings. Wednesday, it's Homeless Day with breakfast in Frederickstead, pampering for the homeless, and a food donation to My Brother's Table. Thursday, it's Farmers Day, and there will be health screenings for farmers at the Ag Fair grounds. There will also be a food donation to Catholic charities. FHC is serving lunch for the homeless every day at My Brother's Table. Well, we have already seen 4 named storms, Andrea, Barry, Chantal, and Dorian. But the heart of the season from mid-August through October has yet to come. NOAA has issued its updated Atlantic Hurricane Outlook Thursday, saying the season is still shaping up to be above normal, with the possibility that it could be very active. However, the federal agency lowered the upper range of its predictions slightly from its preseason forecast. The updated outlook calls for a 70% chance of 13 to 19 named storms and 6 to 9 hurricanes. 3 to 5 could be major hurricanes. Speaking of which, be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.